Well, welcome to another big walk in the Peak District. This is walk number 11, called Chatsworth from Bakewell. Behind me, I'm just leaving the beautiful Bakewell. I was going to pick myself up a little Bakewell pudding whilst I was in there, but I've ended up getting here quite, well, it's a Sunday, it's fairly late, it's about 3:30. So the shops are all starting to close, but despite that, as I approached the it's like a little famous Bakewell pudding shop just at the north end of Bakewell, there were people queuing out the door. So as much as I would love a little sweet treat, I'm not going to. So this is a fantastic walk. I have done it before. I was trying to figure out how long ago it's been since I did this walk, and I think we're talking 12 years. The eldest bushcraft child, she's 13 now, and she would have been on a baby carrier on my back and Mrs. Bushcraft Dave's back trying to do this walk. And I remember it being quite challenging carrying that rucksack. I feel like I'm carrying a similar weight today, because in my rucksack I've got all of the bits and pieces that I need to make today's cookout, which has taken me some preparing. I have to say, it's taken me about 2 hours of sort of prepping and thinking about and cooking and sorting and packing. I'm making chicken tikka masala. I have brought an extra bit of kit that I wouldn't normally cook on. It's not a wok this time. It's a really good and useful bit of camping kit, which I'll show you when we get round to the cooking part. I was going to try and get organised and make my own chapatis or naan, or maybe even buy some pita bread, but I haven't done. It's just going to be the chicken tikka masala, and I cannot wait, honestly. I think it's going to be super indulgent and delicious, and I cannot wait. Let's talk about today's walk nice and briefly from the Collins Ramblers Guide to the Peak District. So this walk number 11, Bakewell from Chatsworth from Bakewell, you basically walk to Chatsworth House and back again, so I can't wait to see that in the sunshine. The walk goes, in fact, let me see if I can get the elevation map for you to see. All right, yeah, there we go. At the beginning, I've got a massive up to do, then a massive down, then a massive up, and then a massive down. So there's going to be a fair bit of climbing in this hike from the beginning, and yeah, it's going to be a really good one. I cannot wait. The weather is glorious. I've made a bit of a mistake. I've got a black t-shirt on, so I'm going to be absorbing the heat. But when it comes to the cooking part, it's going to be a fantastic one, an absolutely brilliant fakeaway, of which I am convinced. Maybe I'm happy about the fact that I think there's going to be extras left over at the end. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this walk number 11. This is the third of the ones I've done this weekend. You've still got one to see that I have already pre-recorded. We'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, here we go, on with this big walk up a hill first. So when you get to a stream at the bottom, don't go straight ahead, come up the stream, very upwards. There it is. Chatsworth House. Beautiful. There's a big water fountain going. Loads of cars there. Well, let's get myself over there. A couple more miles. So I don't know whether you can see, but the path that they want you to walk along takes you to the left of the church spire. But we actually need to come between the church and these trees. There is a very, very faint line. You might just be able to see. Looks more like vehicle tracks, but very faint line heading down this way. Don't know whether you can quite see it on the video. There's absolutely loads of deer. I reckon 40, 50 deer. And then just in the distance, I'm trying to think where it is from here. In the distance I can see about another 50 deer, young deer. Lots of Bambis. I certainly don't want to scare them, so I'm going to give them plenty of room. And there's Chatsworth. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Just going to turn the camera around so you can see this view. We've got Chatsworth just behind them trees. All the deer, sheep, just absolutely free to range on this common pasture land. Amazing. Amazing. Anyway, we found this track. We're going to head into the little village of Ensor. So we've just passed briefly on the edge of a village spelt Edensor but pronounced Ensor, and it was built between 1838 and 1842 in just a 4-year period. There are no two houses the same in there, and basically what happened is, I think it was the 6th Duke. Let me have a quick look. Let me get my facts right. Yeah, the 6th Duke of Devonshire, who decided that the village that was there, he didn't like. Spoilt the area. So he had them knock it down, and basically he picked what houses were there. You can just imagine it. Excuse me, Jives. You wouldn't mind awfully, there's an eyesore down there. No, that's Edensor, sir. Yes, that's right, eyesore. Get it removed, quick, sharp, chappy, and just knock the whole blammin' lot down. I've got a scrapbook here that Mater bought me. It's got some lovely pictures of houses. We'll have one castle, and get it built for me, quick, sharpish. Crazy. What makes it a little bit more ridiculous is I've just come through Enso. I couldn't see Chatsworth House at all. So it's not like you can see it from the house, because I couldn't see the house from there. Clearly when he had visitors coming in on their carriages, he didn't want them to see an ordinary British village. Oh, been a good walk so far. Nearly there. Let me flip this round. Chatsworth just coming into view through the trees. Yeah. Here I am then. Oh, beautiful. Lovely walk over to Chatsworth House. The main frontage of the house, the main bit that you see, that was built between 1678 and 1707 by the 4th Earl of Devonshire. But it sits on what was before a Tudor mansion, and the only bit of it that still remains is, and if we can see it in the top of the woods, is just the tower. The tower at the top of the woods, the hunting tower. It's the only bit that still remains of that original Tudor one. I think I need to bring the kids here at some point. There's some fantastic places for the kids to play, and there's water to splash in, and yeah, it's pretty spectacular. I'm just going to walk a little bit further up maybe, but then I'm going to head on my way back because I'm not staying about. I've got more of my walk to do, and I've got this curry to make. Can't wait. Walking a fair distance actually from the river. In the distance where there's a small group of trees, you might just make out there's a set of stairs to the right of it. I think if I stuck to the river it would still bring me there, but that's where I'm headed. Whew, back up at the top. I can just see the tower that was at Chatsworth. What a view. I'm tired. I've done about 6.5 miles. I've got about 2 to go. Oh, a bit further. So I came up from here. It wants me to get to where this stile is, but I'm not crossing it. I'm walking along here by the look of it. It's not particularly well trodden, but that's what it wants us to do. Just about to cross where we walked across this pasture about 2 hours ago now. So I walked there where the lake was and went straight across. So I think it's time for me to eat. Not a bad spot to just stop, cook, enjoy the scenery. Okay, let's have a look at the stuff that I've brought with me today. Obviously I've got my Trangia stove with me. I've got some water, which I definitely haven't had any of yet on this walk, so I need to get hydrated. Ingredients. I've got with me a bag. It's one of the silicone resealable, reusable bags. In there is 2 chicken breasts chopped up, sort of nice, smallish, bite-sized pieces, and 5 tablespoons of tandoori paste, tandoori spiced paste. It's been marinating in there probably for about 6 to 8 hours. It's not been in my backpack for that long. It's only been in my backpack for the. It's only been in my backpack for the couple of hours of the walk so far. In fact, I'll tell you how long I've done. We've done 2 hours 42 minutes in motion. Right, the other things I've got in here, I've got what I'm gonna call curry gravy. Basically in there, and I'll try and remember as many of the ingredients as I can. I'll put the recipe, the links to the recipe that I've used in the comment section, in the description. So in there's a couple of onions, probably about a couple of garlic cloves, a similar sort of size of chopped ginger. Then there was ground coriander, ground cumin, probably about a teaspoon of each. About maybe still the same, a teaspoon of turmeric, a tiny bit of chili powder, I think. You'll see it in the description anyway, but basically cook that for about an hour, basically making a curried vegetable stock, which we're going to use as the base for this dish. Hand blended, so it's all blended, cooked, ready to go. The actual meal itself, once the chicken's done, the meal is pretty quick to put together. I've also got put that there. I've got a couple of 100 millilitres, half a tin of coconut milk. There's about a tablespoon of ground almonds and a tablespoon of, I've put dark brown sugar in. I don't know whether it should have been dark brown or light brown. I've got another pot. That pot has got in it whipping cream, double cream. I'm not sure how much some whipping cream. I think it's about 50 grams. I can't remember. And then I've got another little pot in here. Is 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. No, it's 1.5 tablespoons of tomato puree, 2 tablespoons of water mixed together to make like a tomato passata style thing. We've got a spice mix. In here is 1 tablespoon of the tandoori paste. There is some salt, and there's 2 teaspoons of a curry spice mix that I made up. I followed instructions from the recipe that I'm using, and again, it was coriander, ground coriander, ground cumin, turmeric, chili powder, garam masala, mild chili powder, various bits and pieces to varying degrees. But in there is only 2 teaspoons of it, and the 1 tablespoon of tandoori paste and some salt. And finally, I think, ish, I've got in this tub, it's some garlic and ginger paste. 1 garlic clove, same sort of size of ginger, and then it's about it's a drizzle of oil and some salt that I just mashed up in a small pestle and mortar that I've got. So I think that's it. Oh, I've got a lemon to potentially put some lemon juice on that in a bit. What I will do is, once I've finished using that lemon, I'll just chuck the chopped up lemon into my water container, so I've got some nice fresh lemony water, which would be quite nice. The other thing that I want to show you, also some oil, vegetable oil this time. The other thing I want to show you is what I'm going to be cooking it in. Now, because it's going to be fairly big, I looked at sort of how many ingredients I've got already. I decided that I wouldn't be able to make this really for 2 people. This is a 2-person recipe, and it might end up being way too much. And I haven't got rice, I haven't got naans, I haven't got poppadoms or anything like that. This may be way, way, way too much food. We'll see at the end of the cook. But because I felt like it was going to be too big for the Trangia pans, what I brought out instead is my zebra billy can. Absolutely fantastic bit of kit. Let me just get a bit closer so I can show you. Really cool bit of kit. I can't remember. I mean, it says on here SUS 304. I can't remember what the size of it is. It's going to be about a 16 or 18 centimetre. I think maybe 18 centimetre zebra billy can. It's fantastic. It's got its own lid. Inside it, we've also got this, which could be used as a small frying pan if I needed it, but I am actually going to use it to serve my curry in, which is going to be cool. And the zebra billy pan itself, which is really deep and fits inside my Trangia stove. So let's get cooking. I'm going to use the frying pan, which, thinking about it, yeah, it's only its 2nd or 3rd outing. It's already starting to take some hammer, but hey ho, it's going to take some hammer again. I'm going to fry off all the chicken in there. I'm going to let the frying pan heat up, but then I'm going to make sure I stick the simmering on, because I actually don't want it to cook too hard. I'm going to really I'm going to fry off the chicken for about 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. In the instructions for the recipe, it says to cook it in the oven beforehand, but I thought to myself, do you know what? I want to try as much as I can to do it out on the stove, out in the wild. Obviously, I couldn't do the hand blender part of the curry gravy, the curry stock. I couldn't do that out in the wild. I probably could do the same thing, but just not blend it. And I probably could sit and watch it simmer for an hour. I guess if I had a big open fire that I was just keeping topped up with, I could restock the fuel on the stove, but I didn't really have an hour to sit about. So, pan's on. We'll get the pan hot, and there is enough oil naturally I would say, within the paste that I wouldn't need to put any oil in there. We'll see if when I'm simmering it away, when I'm frying it away, if I feel like it's sticking a bit, I might chuck a bit of oil in. But ultimately, we're going to fry off this chicken now for about 15 minutes. Unfortunately, not all the chicken has made it in. I've probably got about 4 or 5 pieces left. We'll see. We'll see if once this lot gets cooking, it might sort of shrink down a little bit. I might be able to put it all in, but otherwise, I'm going to be able to take some home. It was about 300 grams of chicken. So, looking at how much I've got left, I reckon 250 grams would probably be enough. Right, well that chicken's had about 15 minutes. I've just put the simmering back on for the last couple of minutes because it was starting to get a bit too dry. But basically, a lot of the time I was cooking that on without the simmering. If we had smell-o-vision, you would be very jealous of this right now. This already smells insanely good. But that's the chicken done for now. I'm just going to pop the lid. It'll go inside the pan. I'm not really bothered about that, but it's just going to keep it sort of safe and secure. I'll put that to one side. Onto the next phase of me cooking. Okay, now is where my zebra billy can comes in. Let me just adjust the camera a bit. Okay. So my zebra billy can, whilst this isn't specifically designed for the Trangia stove at all, it does nestle in there quite well, just like one of the other pans. But obviously this has a lot more depth to it, which is fantastic for cooking this particular dish. Right, all of the next lot happens pretty quick now. From the pan going on to me being able to serve this really shouldn't be more than 10 minutes now. Yeah, so we'll let the pan sort of heat itself up a little bit anyway, and then I'll explain as we go through it one at a time what's going in. Right, so first thing I'm going to put in is just 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. That will not take long for that to get warm at all. To adjust it so it's flat, but it's pretty good. In fact, let me bring this camera over even more so we can see even better what's going on in there, hopefully. Right, oil's getting hot. Next thing that goes in is, I brought myself some teaspoons to make getting this stuff out a bit easier. So the first thing that goes in is my garlic and chili paste. In the recipe it says cook it until it stops sputtering. What I don't want it to do particularly is burn. Which I may have already done just a little. I even have put the simmering is on because I knew it would be a lot closer. Right. Next into the pan is going my spice mix, which is the 2 teaspoons two teaspoons of the dry Indian spice mix, the 1 tablespoon of tandoori paste, again we'll cook it fast, we don't want it to burn. I did a little bit with the garlic, but hey ho. So again, this is, we're talking, you can see inside there, cooking away. All good. Right. I mean, the only thing is with this billy can, it is not designed to be on here, so it will wiggle about a bit. I'm not bothered about that. Next up is my tomatoey passata type paste. And all the time we're building up the layers of flavour. Can't really see very well inside here, but you get the idea. There's some tomato paste in there. Okay, next up, the curry gravy. Now in here is, it was an American or a European recipe, so everything was in ounces. I don't really understand ounces. I'm sure my mum and dad would have done, but I've got in about 400, just over 400 grams of this curry gravy. I just want to put a quarter of it in for now. Just want to get this mixed in, allow it to come to a boil, just so it's just bubbling away. Cool. It's almost like when you're making a roux, you just want to bit by bit get everything combined. Okay, then about another third of it. Now this recipe that I'm using, which you'll see in the description, it is supposed to be as close to like an Indian restaurant style, so it's not like, you know, I've seen lots of recipes before that make sort of Indian spiced things that are certain areas and certain parts of the world, but this is specifically, you know, the British takeaway version of what we know as a chicken tikka masala. It's basically how the British adopted the Indian spice, or ultimately, I guess it was, I don't know enough about it, but I guess it was how things were tamed down and tempered to the British taste. Right, well, it's starting to sort of bubble away. We'll get the last of it in. Absolutely fantastic. Right, let me try and see if I can get you to see what's going on in here. Cool. So by now, in here has got the garlic and ginger, the spice mix, the tomato puree and a bit of water, and all of my curry gravy. Once this starts to just bubble, into there we're going to go with the chicken and the coconut milk, almond flour and sugar. It's quite cool having this handle. It helps steady it against the Trangia windbreak and stove, but it also means I can sort of use it as a bit of a handle when I need to, and I'll be able to lift it off in the end. Other good thing about having this big tall pan, for those of you that have seen some of my other cooking videos, I'm less likely to be chucking the stuff out of the pan. It's not impossible, but it's less likely. Now it's starting to sound like it's bubbling, but we've not got there just yet. It's sort of bubbling towards the bottom, I can hear. I wonder whether this Trangia thing works on here. Yeah, that's cool. So that's pretty versatile grip, covered in tandoori paste. I'll wash that off when I get home. It's doing well, come on. I'm hungry now. Here we go. Right. Sounds more promising. The chicken. And actually all of the, I should lower that down a bit. All of the sauce and everything that's in there, I'm getting all of that in. Ah, interesting. It just sounds like it stopped simmering, which means it's out of fuel. So at best just quickly top it up. Only needs a little bit more fuel. Let me quickly get that sorted out. Yeah, it's gone out. Let's be quick. We're back on. Let's get it going again. So the chicken's gone in. Oh my god, this looks amazing. It smells amazing. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. So as well as the chicken going in there, it's time to also get in my 200 mils, 200 grams, half a can, however you want to say it, of coconut milk and almond flour and sugar. Get as much of that in as I can. This is going to give it that sort of lovely, glossy, creamy flavour and colour. And like I said, there's a tablespoon of sugar in here as well, so it's going to add cream, cool. It's going to be so good. So this now needs 5 minutes. If anything, I would say, and if I was to do this on a stove at home, this is definitely what I would do. And if I had time. And what time is it now? 7:30. I could sit and cook it even longer, but it's quite a runny mixture. I might cook it a little bit. I would maybe think about cooking it a little bit longer, just to thicken it up. However, I want it to have 5 minutes. I have then, when I take it off the heat, I am gonna need to put double cream in, which will thicken it. So we're gonna add some of that in a bit. Okay, I reckon I'm gonna call it time on that. Let me just take this off the stove. Put this down. This was the really good tip given to me by one of the subscribers, Firestarter Marshy. Yeah, thank you. I'm trying to figure out the best way to make it work, but a really good idea. Just a little magnet, tiny little magnet. I put it on the end of a spoon, and then it should mean I can pick up the lid of this. The only problem is this magnet is so strong, I struggle to get it off, but it doesn't stick to the material here. So right, let's see if it's cool enough to close. Yeah, close it up, chuck it on. Come on, there we go. So it's just going to deprive it of a bit of oxygen. Eventually should see the fire put itself out. I'll leave it for a bit anyway. I'll let it all cool down before I do anything else. Oh, look at that colour. It's going to get even better now. Last thing that I've got to add is some double cream, which, because I've been carrying it around in my bag and chucking my bag around, it has slightly split. I'm not going to let that bother me. With hindsight, stuff like the coconut milk and this double cream, it would be advisable to pop it in with some sort of like ice pack. But I didn't think that far ahead, and I'm a bit of a muppet, as we know. So, cream's gone in. And it even suggests a squeeze of lime juice. So I'm going to try something I saw on a video the other day about sticking a skewer in the end of the lemon. Oh God. And then you should, oh God, let me see if I can make this work. Yeah, it worked. It's alive. Right, we're nearly there. Give that a mix. It's time to serve it up and get eating. Well, I've been cooking it now for about 40 minutes. It was about 15 minutes frying off the chicken. I thought the rest would come together a lot quicker, but hey ho, I don't really care. Oh, let me take my glasses off. Hello. So I'm really excited to get eating this. I did have another fork somewhere. There we go. I cannot tell you how excited I am to eat this. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed about is that I haven't got a naan bread rice, some poppadoms, mango chutney, the full works. But the only thing I'd say is there's a bit too much liquid in here. So it maybe doesn't need, the 400 grams of the sort of curry sauce, the gravy, the stock. Maybe about 300 grams of that might have done. Maybe a little bit less coconut milk. I don't know. Just it's a bit heavy on the sauce side, but I guess if you're eating that with naan bread and rice and everything else, beautiful. Right, let's try some of this chicken. Oh my lord. Holy moly. Now I've had chicken tikka masala in loads of curry houses all over the place. This is right up there. And an idiot cooked it on a camping stove. So that puts it right up at there at number 1 for me. Man alive. I'm sorry, like I said a few weeks ago how good that chili con carne was. Don't get me wrong, that was absolutely superb, but this is another level. Wow. And I've got loads left. I mean, like, loads. Definitely enough for a 2-person portion. I guess you could shrink it down a bit so that you could cook it on the Trangia stove, rather on the, like, using one of the Trangia pans rather than having to use that zebra billy can, because it doesn't even come anywhere near to up to halfway up the zebra billy can. It certainly would have been probably overflowing, especially with me the way I cook. But man, this is awesome. And when I've eaten all my chicken pieces, I've basically got a tikka masala soup that I can have. And I'm not going to be civilized. I'm not going to use a spoon. I am going to drink it straight out of this serving plate bowl thing, because I'm not civilized and I'm in the wild, and all my troubles have gone because I've now got chicken tikka masala in my tum. Proper good. Love it. Oh yeah. I'd show you me being uncivilized and drinking it, but I don't think my mum would approve. I'm going to get this drunk. I'm going to get myself all packed up and sorted, and then I'm going to get myself back on the way to the car. I've got about half an hour left to go. It's about just over a mile. Half an hour back to the car. Head home. Been a fantastic weekend of walking, and this has topped it off. Oh, mind you, this is a sneak to what you're going to see next week for walk 12, where I make a chicken Caesar salad. That was pretty damn good, but I think this is the better one. Let's get moving. Right, I'm off on the return leg of the journey. I've got my residual curry. Kept it out of the bag. Oh, this has been a spectacular walk. Sun's going down. Weather's been beautiful. Chatsworth house looked amazing. Sun shining on it. I saw deer. And it was a big walk, one of the longest ones I've done so far. There were certainly points that I found it challenging, monotonous, which sometimes walking can be. Kind of got to just keep going, haven't you? Yeah, I can see why it is a level 3, because there is, you know, a couple of stages of up, and it is a long walk. And I am tired and fatigued. I think certainly if I had more time available, I could have took a few more breaks. I could have stopped at Chatsworth for a bit, and yeah. But all in all, it's been pretty cool. And for me, ends a lovely long weekend of walking. Chance to blow off a bit of steam at the end of the half term. 3 walks, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll see them slightly out of order of what I've done. You've got one next week to see that I did yesterday. It was a good one. I can already tell you that. And yeah, because it's out of order, it's confusing now. I've got to tell you what the next walk's called. The next walk is walk number 12, the Dales of the Wye. I didn't even need to look in the book because I did it yesterday. But yeah, you'll see it next week, the Dales of the Wye. A really lovely walk. Where I'm going to make a chicken tikka, not chicken tikka masala. I've got it in my head, how good that meal was. A chicken Caesar salad. That's why, chicken Caesar salad. Very tasty, very simple dish. I had leftovers that I took home. So definitely one that you can cook for 2 on the Trangia. I reckon if you were organised enough, you could probably cook it for 3 or 4, because dead simple, you've only got to cook the chicken. But anyway, too many spoilers. Stop it, Dave, stop it. But other than that, you'll see some more footage of the end of the walk. But tomorrow, me, Mrs. Bushcraft Dave and the 2 bushcraft children, we're going on holiday. Hence why I've recorded a few, to get myself in advance, get myself organised. Listen everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on this latest adventure, and for all your support. Everybody who's been along with me for the journey since the beginning, or whether you've just joined me, thank you so much. If you haven't already, please do click subscribe so that you can get notification when a new video comes out. It should always be that 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, but you never know, life gets in the way sometimes. But hey, it's been a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, not down the road. Down here. Yeah. I don't think it's that way. I'm going to go to the right. Let's see what happens. Just looking at my map, I think maybe I should have gone down there. But what I'm going to do, hopefully, is not far off join up with everything anyway. We'll soon see. My bad. When you get to the crossroads, don't go right. It looks like you actually do need to go straight on. Because right now, the path that I want is way over to the left. Well, having come this way, so we're about to meet a road, at which point I'll turn left. It should bring me, hopefully, very swiftly back to where I should be. That's where you would have come out. But to be fair, hasn't affected me too much. Anyway, job done. Back to the car. Not that one. A bit further on. I can't tell you how excited I am to eat this. I've probably been cooking it in total. The frying the chicken.